Hey guys, welcome to the Introvert Dating Success Show. I'm your host as always, Harry Wilmington. And today we're going to be talking about something very, very important, okay? So this guy had a question he put on Reddit, and it's talking about this woman that won't remove a dating app from her phone, all right? But what I really want to talk about in the course of this message is this idea that ultimately a woman that likes you will always break her rules and or dating rules for you. And this is a concept that a lot of guys don't understand because as logical beings, we think that if a woman tells us something about her needs or lack thereof needs in a relationship, that these are rules that must make sense to them and that they always follow. And therefore, they're just telling me this certain rule because they want me to know in advance how they are. And this is how they always are. And I have found, I don't know if you found, but I've definitely found that in the course of dating, that I've been on dates with women where they'll tell me like, oh, they have a rule or something or whatever. And then when I would ask them about previous relationships, the rules that they're applying to me didn't apply to these past relationships. And in some cases, women that have gone on to date guys after me broke the rule that they said for me was the rule that they had, which let me start to understand that when women have a strong interest in you, no matter what they say their rules are, more often than not, if they know that breaking that rule is going to either make you happy or quite honestly, it's something that they want to break because it's going to make them happy, then they will do it. So I want to read this guy's message because he's going through an interesting situation with a girl that he met on a dating app, and she's talking about what she will or won't do based on whatever, and he's wondering if he's being unreasonable, all right? So we're going to answer this guy's question. As always, guys, if you have a question you'd like to answer, me to answer one of these shows, you can write to me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. Right now, we're doing our 25 videos countdown to Christmas. So this is 25 days of introvert dating advice, video a day up until Christmas, at which point Christmas will actually be the 300th episode of the Introvert Dating Podcast. So thanks to all of you guys that have been downloading it and have been listening to it and have been spreading it around. If you want to show your support even more so, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/HarryWilmington. And you can also send me a cash app at $HarryWilmington to show monetary support. All right. Also, guys, I want a few things at my website right now. My big programs at the website, my Smart Digital Dating Program and my Introvert Dating Success Academy are heavily discounted for the holidays. So if you want to get a good deal on some programs that'll teach you how to do online dating the right way, and that will also teach you how to date as an introvert in a way that'll actually get you from meeting a woman all the way to getting a relationship, those programs are now available at a discount at the website, so go check those out. Also, you can get access to a free copy of my ebook, No Girls For You, The Ultimate Guide to Losing the Girl of Your Dreams, simply by signing up for my video newsletter. Just fill out your name and email address, and you will get instant access to my best-selling ebook that teaches you about why the things you're doing right now to try to get women is actually causing you to lose them, all right? So check those things out at the website. All right, let's go ahead and get to this guy's message, and I'll stop along the way to answer various parts of it as well. So he says, I've been dating a girl for 3 months now. He's 29, she's 31. We've had numerous conversations that we've agreed that we are not seeing anybody else. Okay, I don't know why you're having numerous conversations about this, guys, but that needs to stop. This is for you guys out there that think, okay, well, if I have a conversation with a woman about me not seeing anybody right now, then that'll let her know that she shouldn't be seeing anybody either. The problem is, if it's before that 3-month mark where she solidified her feelings, that conversation doesn't matter because ultimately, as long as you guys don't have titles, she can technically see and do with whatever she wants, with whoever she wants during that time, okay? And you can feel some kind of way about it, but the reality is you shouldn't be butthurt by it because the dating phase is just that. It's a time for her to figure out if she wants to be with you or possibly some other guys that she's dating at the same time. You deciding to announce that you are not seeing anybody else does not matter. Hey, I've dated plenty of women where it's like, you know what? I always say to myself, I can technically date however many people I want to up until the point where we have titles. I say that to myself, but that doesn't mean I always take advantage of that. I've had women that I've dated where it's like, after 1 or 2 dates, I was like, you know what? This one's fine with me, I'm good. But do I verbalize that to her? No, because I'm gonna give her the 3 months that she needs to solidify her feelings for me and to suss out any of the other dates that she has that she can compare to me and say, you know what? Based on all the guys I'm dating, Harry over here is the best one. I need her to do that. I need her to go through that process so she sees that I'm the best thing out there. And if you are feeling anxiety about that or not feeling sure to yourself, then unfortunately you're cutting into the part of the process that she needs to do of her own free will to really actually figure out if she likes you once and for all right? So no more of this talk about, well, I'm dating exclusively, I'm not seeing else. Unless she asks you about it, you ain't got to bring it up, all right? Continuing on. So he says, it's about this time in a relationship, 3-month mark, that I want to set where or what we are. But I've noticed that she gets squeamish about calling me her boyfriend or me calling her my girlfriend. An example would be this past weekend when we met some coworkers of mine for a drink and they introduced us to their group of friends. My coworker's wife said, and this is so-and-so's girlfriend. I could tell she was dying inside. I think she has commitment issues. Well, that's not really the case because I'll say this, any girl that I've ever dated before that said in the past she had commitment issues had no problem committing to me. So what really happened was she dated a bunch of guys in the past that just weren't to her liking, but she may have felt as though she needed to be with them to get along with, to not hurt their feelings or whatever, but she probably wasn't necessarily feeling that connection that she needed to really feel to make this guy one that she'd want to be with long term, okay? And also what I found is that when you try to force the conversation of relationship on a woman rather than waiting for her to do it, this is what usually happens. Is after like a month or two, most guys will go to her probably be like, well, we've been dating for 2 months, can we be in a relationship? And like I tell you guys, unless she's bringing it to your attention and letting you know that that's what she wants because she's there with her feelings, then there's no need to bring this up. Now, I tell you guys, on average, it takes a woman 2 to 3 months to solidify her feelings. What are things that could hinder that? Well, bringing up conversations about you guys being exclusively dating each other on and off numerous times could be the thing that's making her feel like you're starting to force a relationship on her because you're not letting her come to you with those conversations, okay? And so this is why she may be apprehensive because, that's what I'm saying. So it takes on average 2 to 3 months, but it could take more. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 months. So this is what I say to you guys. As long as she is consistently saying yes to dates and is not flaking and is showing you a good time, then you are good. It might take her 6 months to get to where she wants titles. That's fine. Now, the caveat is during this time, when you don't have titles, you both can technically still do whatever you want. And what I found is that, let's say a woman's being hesitant about giving titles. Okay, fine. So that means that as long as we don't have titles, we can do or see whoever we want. So this isn't a committed thing yet because we don't have titles. So that means if you go out on a date with somebody else, she can't be butthurt by it. But what if you do go on a date with somebody else and she is butthurt by it? Well, then that's when you can have the conversation of, well, I mean, you yourself say that you weren't ready for a relationship. And so I thought that since we don't have titles, we could do whatever. So are you now saying that you don't want me seeing other women? Because if so, we need to have a different kind of conversation about what that means. Does this mean that you now want a committed relationship? Like, I'm leaving this up to you, but let me know. Because if you want to be in a committed relationship, then we can throw some titles out and I'll stop seeing these other women. But if you're not ready for that step yet, then I got to still put myself out there on the off chance that we never get to the title stage. So what is it? That is a way where you're not forcing her to get into a relationship, but you are saying to her, I want a relationship. If you don't want one, that's fine, but that doesn't mean that I don't have the right to have one. So if it's not you, it's going to be somebody. Do you want it to be somebody else? Because it can be, but if you don't, then we need to talk about what we're doing. And that's a way to get her into it without forcing it, but making her say realistically, you got a decision to make. Because I don't think it's fair for you as the guy to have to wait around for her to want to be in a relationship if it's like 5, 6, or 7 months. But again, that's a conversation you got to have, but you can't force it on her, all right? She has to be the one to ultimately come to you and say, hey, you know what? I want a relationship. Or, hey, I recognize you still have your dating app on. I recognize you're still seeing other women, but I feel some kind of way about that. So let's talk titles, okay? She's got to be the one to bring that up. Continuing. He says, anyway, I noticed the other day when she was using her phone that she still had the dating app we originally met on her phone. This dating app is very specific to our cultural backgrounds. I mentioned that this bothers me to her before, but she says that she, quote, doesn't even use the app and she, quote, doesn't even have time to date anyone else because I'm always with you. We see each other maybe 2 to 3 times a week and she spends most weekends at my place. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you right now, guy, this guy is seeing this woman way too much. Look what he said. So he's seeing her 2 to 3 times during the week. So let's say Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday he sees her, all right? And then he's seeing her on most weekends. That's now Friday and Saturday. That's 5 days a week. That is too much time to be seeing somebody that you just started dating. Heck, I've had times where I've been in relationships for like, months on end or years on end where I'm still only seeing the girl 3, maybe 4 times a week at most, all right? And so this is too much time. The fact that she says, doesn't have time to date anyone else because I'm always with you, that the way it's phrased, it sounds like a complaint. It's not like she's saying, God, I spend all my time with you. How do I have time to date anybody else? But you got to look out for that kind of stuff because recognize that when women get into relationships, They might still have other relationships they still want to be able to be involved in, whether it's with friends, family, etc. But they might feel like they're going to hurt your feelings if they express that. And so a lot of women will just hang around solely with their guy, all the while slowly building resentment because she's thinking, I want to hang out with my other friends, but he's going to be mad if I blah, 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 blah. And if you've at any time shown a woman that you get a little mad or anxious if she's trying to hang out with anybody besides you, is it any wonder then why she would have that feeling, okay? So this is why even when you're in a relationship, you got to say, hey, babe, go hang with your friends. Hey, babe, go see your family member. Hey, babe, hang out with that friend of yours at work, because you need to let her know that while you recognize how important you are, you also recognize she has other people to see outside of you that are equally as important that she needs to still keep those relationships good with by spending time with them, all right? Anyway, continuing, he says, when I brought up why does she still have the app on her phone, even after discussing this many times, again, all these many times discussions, until you're a boyfriend or girlfriend, dude, she can have all the apps on her phone that she wants, all right? Anyway, even after discussing this many times, she says, quote, it's just a freaking useless app on my phone, and you're making it into this big deal. I don't delete stuff. I'm not one of those kinds of people. I hold on to crap. You want me to delete? I'll delete so I don't have to hear this anymore. She then went on to calling me controlling. Am I being unreasonable here? Whether you use the app or not, if you're dating someone exclusively for 3 months, would you delete the app? Is she right? Am I being controlling? So here's the thing, first of all, okay? In terms of getting to a relationship, this is why you dating exclusively is not the same thing as being in a relationship. And I'm gonna actually do a whole show on that sometime later this week, okay? But to the point, the way you get a woman to delete a dating app is very, very simple, is that you don't bring up the relationship conversation. And at the point that she comes to you and says, hey, what are we? Can we be more serious? I want a title. Then you go into negotiations. One of the things that you can say during those negotiations is, okay, so if we're gonna be a boyfriend or girlfriend, what does this mean about our dating apps? Can we delete those? And at that point, she's gonna either say, well, we can, just because they're still on my phone doesn't mean that I'm gonna be dating other people. At which point you can say, okay, well then let's just keep things the way we are. She'd probably say, like, what do you mean? Like, well, you don't want to delete the dating app. You don't want to delete the dating app, and I think it's important to do so in order to be in a relationship, but you don't want to do that, so let's just keep doing what we're doing. Let's just not call it a relationship. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. Now, at this point, what are you doing? You're not forcing her to delete the app, but what you are saying is that your boundary is that unless dating apps are deleted, you're not going to feel comfortable in a dating situation. This now gives her the option to decide to delete the app or to be stubborn about it, and you guys just continue to do what you're doing, or you guys stop seeing each other altogether if that's what you need, okay? But more to the point is the part where she said she doesn't delete stuff, she's not one of those kinds of people. That, my friend, is a lie. That is an example of a woman that doesn't really have too high of interest in you trying to make a demand that she feels is a reasonable demand that she would absolutely break for a guy that she truly liked, okay? Now, hey, I've had it where I've dated women before who, let's say I was dating them and I came across their social media or whatever, and they had like a profile that had their ex-boyfriends or whatever on it, okay? Again, I don't tell these women to take the thing down, but what I do say is that in order for me to be in a long-term relationship, I know that I don't have pictures with my exes up on my social media. So if they have their exes up on social media, that's totally fine. We can just keep things the way they are, whether it's just us being friends with benefits or just hooking up occasionally, but it's not gonna ever be a relationship. And at that point, they can decide. And I found that women that I've done that with who wanted to be with me would go so far as to either delete that account or at the very least go through their account and delete every single picture of their previous person they were with. Again, did I tell them to do this? No. But what am I saying? What I'm saying is that, again, women that have a high interest in you and want you to know unabashedly that they want to be with you will go out of the way to do things that show you that, even if it means breaking rules that they allegedly have for themselves. It's just like women that say, oh, I would never hook up with a guy on a first date, and then they go on a first date with a guy that's just like, but he had the right cologne and he smelled great and he knew what wines to order. We had a good conversation and it was just so stimulating. And I couldn't help myself. Well, the reality is that all these rules that women are putting in place, more often than not, are very arbitrary. They are rules that they're hoping will allow them to vet guys properly by seeing which ones are going to be adherent to those rules or what they're comfortable with, etc. But when a woman meets a guy that just rocks her world or that she sees as the high value or the prize or any of those other terms you want to put out there, she will break every single rule. Women will move away from their families, and will stop talking to friends, and will start up habits that they never had before, or will quit habits that they used to have, all as a means to try to show a guy that they really, really like, that she's really, really down for them, okay? So when women throw out these things to you like, oh, I don't ever delete any apps on my phone ever, or, oh, I would never invite a guy to my place before the 10th date, or, oh, I'm gonna hold out on sex until the 90th day. Well, recognize that those rules just mean that she's not at a level of attraction with you yet to where she can break those rules. Now, when I say yet by that is this, is that you'll hear women say things sometimes, and sometimes they're saying it as a means to test to see where you're at. I've had women tell me before, like, okay, I don't hook up with guys before like my 10th date, for example. And my response is always the same. Okay, fine. I'm just trying to get to know you in whatever capacity that means. I just want you to be comfortable. I find when I'm not fighting them on that, and that I give answers that indicate that I'm really nonchalant and chill about whatever the heck she's trying to do, that usually results in them now being open to changing what they thought their rules were. And so a woman that might say we can hook up till date 10 might suddenly decide to break that rule on date 5, simply because I wasn't pushing the issue or making it a big freaking deal, okay? But all that to say, so when women tell you these things early on, you have to decide, okay, is she telling me this thing because she's really not attracted and wants to push me away? Is she telling me this because in her past, she's had guys that, she said, I don't want to kiss until date 3, that they got really mad about it and started breaking things or whatever. Like, why is this rule out there? And then you got to decide if you want to try to quote unquote adhere to that rule until such a time as she decides to break it, or you might decide, you know what, that rule is not for me and it's not going to work out and I got to leave. And that's all at your discretion, because depending on the woman, things could change up. Like I said, you might have a woman that says, I don't kiss guys till date 3. You might think, well, I want to kiss on date 1, so this isn't going to work. Or you might say, you know what, I'm actually used to date 5, so date 3 wouldn't bug me at all. You have to decide that stuff for yourself, okay? But just recognize that there are going to be some women out there that put these so-called rules in place, and they're going to sound logical to you, as if these rules are actually things that she follows every single time, and I'm telling you they are not. I'm telling you that at the point where she starts to feel heightened attraction for you, she's going to break a lot of the rules that she set out for herself. And sometimes those rules are in place just for her own safety, because she needs to make sure that you're not a guy that's going to fly off the handle if she decides to set boundaries. But other times, there are going to be rules that are just unreasonable because low-key, subconsciously, she's not as highly attracted to you as you are to her. And when this happens, when this kind of thing happens where she's like, well, I'm not going to delete this app, blah, 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 you got to decide to call her bluff. Because sometimes calling her bluff, it'll do either A, it's going to make her realize how silly she's being and that she wants you around, and so she'll do the thing, or she's going to keep that bluff in place because she's ultimately actually trying to chase you away, but doesn't want to be the bad girl in the situation doing it. So she's going to put this out there so that way when you break up with her, she can say to her friends, I had this boundary and he decided he didn't want to do it, and so blah, blah, blah. And you look like the bad guy, okay? But either way, when these rules come up, if they're not rules that you like, call a bluff on it. Call it up and be like, hey, okay, you want to set this rule? Well, I'm not cool with that. I had girls before in the past tell me like, well, I don't want to have sex until like the 5th or 6th date. And I'd be like, well, what if I want to wait? What if I want to wait like 2 or 3 months? Like, is that going to be a problem? At which point they'd be like, oh, well, that seems kind of like, oh, but you're setting an arbitrary timeline. Why can't I do that? Like, sometimes verbalizing your own version of these rules to women will make them also realize like how dumb they're being. And you can just be like, look, ultimately, why don't we just see how things go? If you feel like you want to do something a little sooner than later or not, I'm not going to judge you on it. It's totally fine. It is what it is. But like, we don't have to set up these random rules just to make ourselves feel good, because you got to know in your heart of hearts, guy, that she will definitely break that rule if she finds you highly attractive. All right? So hopefully that helps you guys out for today. For more of these shows, check it out on basically any podcast service, Apple, Spotify. Leave 5-star reviews if you can. It helps out the show a lot. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/HarryWilmington. And you can also support me by sending me a Cash App at $HarryWilmington. And of course, right now, during the holidays, we have some great discounts happening on some of the programs available at introvertdatingsuccess.com. So check those out on the products tab. And you can also sign up for my free copy of my ebook, No Girls For You, The Ultimate Guide to Losing the Girl of Your Dreams. Simply by signing up for my video newsletter with your name and email address, you'll gain instant access to both the audio and the PDF. And I promise you, you will definitely get a kick out of learning how to lose women the right way. All right? That's all I got for today. I'm Harry Wilmington, and I'll catch you guys on the next show. Again, we're doing one of these videos a day for 25 days up until December 25th. So be sure to check back tomorrow for another episode. That's all for now, and I'm out. Peace.